Good evening, everyone. This is Rishikesh Shinde, founder of Global Law Associates. I welcome you all in this yet another fantastic episode of our webinar series, Basic Things to Do in Law Schools. Today, with us, an eminent lawyer from the Madras High Courts who will address us on the subject of how to build up our career and what are the basic things to do in the law schools. So, today with us, Advocate A. Gunasilan, who is a lawyer for arbitration and mediation. He is practicing lawyer at Madras High Court. He has been enrolled in 1980 on 28th of February. So today with us, a mammoth from the field of law, Mr. A. Gunasilan. Over to you, sir.
It's nice meeting you all people on a virtual platform. I think COVID-19 has done a lot of good in this sense, that we are all able to meet. See, I'm here down in Chennai, and you're all at Ahmedabad and at various other places. So we all could meet in this single platform. It's nice meeting you all. Now, I've been asked to speak about the career options after finishing your law and your roadmap and how I cross through these barriers. Let me tell you, when you choose law as a course of study, you may not have been aware as to what you are bargaining for in the sense. Many of you may have come from families where there is a person who's already in the legal profession. And many of you may have opted to this course by chance. However, as you have started your law career, by entering into a law college, how you go about getting yourself ready to be a marketable product after you pass out of law college. Now, it's very important. There are certain qualities which you should develop as a law student. Basically, in the law colleges, what is taught to you are the basic principles of law. You will be studying various aspects of the science of law, in the sense, all the theories, all the legal aspects of it. But when you come out of law college and when you start practicing either as an advocate or as an in-house counsel or in the outside world, in whatever option you choose to, you will see a vast difference between what you have studied in law college and application of what you have studied in the practical reality. Many may find it very difficult to get themselves oriented soon as they start practicing. So you should understand one thing. You should study law and be thorough with the subject, not only while studying, but also in applying what you're studying. Legal profession is all about how you practice law. See, legal profession has undergone a lot of changes. What was earlier is not the case today, scenario today. People who come out of law colleges have different badges attached to them. Many have chosen, many fortunate have chosen certain of the prime law schools where the curriculum is different, where the fee standards are high, and many are still studying law in different law colleges where the curriculum is totally different. See, that's the difference between studying in a government law college, studying in a private law college and all that. Why I'm emphasizing this point is this. See, in all these specialized law institutions, they prepare you to meet the challenges when you step out of the law college. That is how, when the national law schools were formed, they imbibed moot court as one of their curriculum itself, part of the curriculum activity. And now there are a lot of options available to you where you can develop your expertise. So when you study law in the law college itself, you find out what you intend to do after your studies. In what area of practice you want to step into. If you are a first generation lawyer, you'll have very great difficulty in choosing a particular field of law for you to practice. Because today, there are lots of forums where you can practice law. Not only in courts. In courts also, you have got different systems. The civil courts, the criminal courts, the labor courts, the family courts, and in addition to that, you have so many of tribunals, administrative tribunal, state administrative tribunal, central administrative tribunal, and various other forums. So now, when you start thinking about your career as a legal professional, you must decide at the time of studying in law college itself, in which area of practice you're going to step into. Now, in the law college, I would advise you to be a part of a society. For example, a moot society or a legal aid service societies. There are so many societies which are available where you can become a member and be a part of the community. With the advanced technology now available to you, you all can go into the virtual platform, go into the internet and see the options opening up before you. You can find out what are all the fields of practice, whether be it intellectual property or cyber security or Copyright Act or civil litigations or criminal litigations. You can see an array of virtual blogs and various courses offered by very many organizations that are internationally recognized and also which will give you an exposure to the options available to you for choosing an area of practice. Now, when you go into these virtual platforms, you will see many of the institutions. I will name a few. UN Citral, that is on trade laws, international trade agreements. Then arbitration forums, where like the Indian Institute of Arbitration and Mediation, Nani Palkiwala Arbitration Center, international arbitration groups. There are many, many groups available now today, intellectual property law groups. So you can see all those websites available, and wherever possible, if they offer a certificate course, it will be of shorter duration. It will be mostly online. Now it is mostly online. So you choose a particular branch and get to know the people who are there, who can, where you can become a member, or where you can study a course and acquire certificates. Mere law degree is not going to take you anywhere. This is a basic qualification. The degree in law is a basic qualification, but you must have add-ons to your qualification that are very important. And this is the time for you to choose that. After coming into the profession or after coming out of the law college, you should not regret having missed these occasions. You can have plenty of certificates to your what do you call kitty, which will enhance your profile when you pass out of the law college. Not only that, you will gain experience, get into lots of contacts with various personalities who are in that field. I will take the case of Hrishikesh Shinde as an example. Like he is on the website, he searched, he came across me, and then he wanted to know about me. So I shared a few details with him, and he then said, "Sir, why not you please come and give us a talk as to how we can go about gaining from your experience and how we can explore our career options." Now you see, I gladly took up the opportunity for this reason, because you students studying in New College at Ahmedabad may not have come across so much of personalities. This virtual platform is one such area where you can identify persons and take their guidance. So we follow that example. And the Internet of Things has come to stay. See, I have come from a generation where I did not have the benefit of internet or any other, for that matter, this WhatsApp, all these things. But these are all opportunities available to you. Most important thing I would stress as a student of law, you must develop an attitude which is always positive in nature. Remember, the system of legal practice which we have today has two kinds. One is an adversarial system in which you are all trained to practice. The law curriculum as such is training you to become a lawyer fighting for a client. Now, when you fight for your client, your position is that of an adversarial nature. That is, you're fighting for a person against another. So this is adversarial system. In a court of law, either it is the plaintiff or the defendant. The one who comes into the court, one who defends a case. You appear either for one of them. Now, of course, the area has developed how to study the case, what approach you can take in the how to resolve the problems. These are all the inputs you will be getting, which will be of vital help to you in the longer run as a legal professional. So internship, you choose wisely, and you have got sufficient time in your hands. Therefore, choose internships for a period of 2 months or 1 month with an established legal professional in one area of practice, say civil litigations. Go into, for the next tenure, you go into a established criminal lawyer or criminal justice system and see. Because I'm telling you one thing, criminal law is not a question of mere taking bail and taking, what do you call it, fighting for an accused. Today, the sophistication with which crimes are being committed has, it is now termed as white collar crimes. And the number of specialized enactments that have come to deal with these crimes are plenty. There are plenty of people who are specializing in this area of practice. See, when Section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act was introduced, bouncing of checks, oh my God, so much of cases, so much of criminal cases, and the money laundering cases. Now, more importantly, with the virtual platform coming to abundant use, cyber security is another specialized area. So what I would suggest is, you as law students, try to get an internship in many of these established firms which have specialized fields within their own firms, and attach yourself, learn the process, how it works. You will have a basic idea of how the system functions outside the textbooks. Now, that brings me to the next issue at what you should do as a law student. When you study law, you should study law in all its jurisprudential aspects. Be sound in your theories. Don't while away your time. The higher the grade you get, more the offers from the firms will be there for you to take. Now, I have told you as to how about going into what you call various areas of practice and other things. There is yet another option available to you, which I would suggest is a very important object also. See, judicial service today is gaining very much importance. You all people would be now, by now, say 23, 24, 25. By the time you finish law and when you start practice, start preparing for judicial examinations. At the entry level, there are so much of vacancies available. Every year, judicial recruitment takes place. You apply for those examinations, get cleared, and get into judicial service. You start as a district munsif, I'm telling you, that is the lowest bottom level. You can become a Supreme Court judge by the growth, by the time you reach your age. I'll give you a few illustrations. One Justice Natarajan, N. Natarajan, who retired as a Supreme Court judge. He's from the Madras Bar. He came from a very remote village in Salem district. Very remote village. Now, from a district munsif, he entered judicial service after a few years of practice. He rose, became a district judge, then became a High Court judge. Thereafter, he was elevated to the Supreme Court. So what I am now trying to emphasize is, in the judicial appointments today, to the higher judicial forum, reservations are made for people who are coming from the judicial hierarchy itself. So plenty of options are available there. You explore the possibility. And one more important thing, the system of law clerks have come into work today. in every high court, there is a legal intern. You get a monthly stipend, you are attached to a judge, you be there for 2 years. That is the minimum period, I think, which is now available. But you have a good stipend, and sitting in a court, you learn a lot of things from the judge. And remember, in the high courts, today a judge is not confined to one portfolio. They are dealing with different portfolios. So many a times they sit in appellate side, they sit in the original side, they sit in review petitions, civil miscellaneous appeals, first appeals, second appeals, commercial courts, which have now come into vogue. So when you sit there as an intern, you not only assist the judge, but you also see advocates and practitioners who present the cases before the court. And you learn a lot from them. They refer to so many judicial decisions. You gain so much of knowledge. That is one option available to you even as a law student. Even as a law student, you can go and get yourself attached to an office, go to the courts. Now, so therefore, as I said, it is important that when you study law, you choose, because it is the time for you to choose, what are you going to be next? And when you decide what are you going to be next, then you acquire sufficient skills on that. They are known as add-on skills. So you, for example, I'll give you a small light illustration, which my instructor at Mediation Center always used to tell me. What law college is preparing you is like, see, when you go to, I think most of you have to take visas. And visas are what? They are bread, bottom based on bread. But what adds value to the pizza is what is added on the pizza. Capsicum, cheese, chicken, whatnot. So they are add-ons. That gives the value to the pizza. Likewise, it's a small, simple illustration I'm doing. As a mere law degree, studying law is not going to be sufficient for you. You have to develop, you have to add certain more skills to that. That hands-on skill is open to you and available to you today in this virtual practice. Now let me tell you about my history, how I came into the profession and how I started my career. Many of you also will be able to identify with me because I'm a first generation lawyer. And many of you may see, not all of you are going to get into the niche practice by compulsions, probably by circumstances, by force of circumstances. And today the vast majority of legal profession are practicing in the Mofussil courts. Mofussil courts means the lower subordinate courts, the criminal courts, first-class judicial magistrate courts, the sessions courts, the district municipal courts, the district courts. So, and when I started my career way back in 1980, we did not have this advanced system of, see, even to make a STD call to Delhi, we have to book a call and wait, trunk call. Telephones are not that easily available. Today, you all have mobiles in your hands. Our system was like that. Today, you can type on a computer keyboard, make various corrections. We used to type it manually in the typewriter. So, we have crossed that stage. I have seen it. When I started my practice, Fortunately, I learned typing. So my first purchase was to buy a typewriter. The second purchase, of course, was to build a library. So when you start typing, that is, this I'll tell you, this is a small thing, but it makes a huge difference. When a client comes to you, you learn from your seniors how to interact with the client, how to communicate with the client, gather the materials, assess the pros and cons of his case, study legal materials to know the background, legal background, and the issues of law involved and all that. Then you start pleading, drafting your pleadings, you start typing. When you start typing, it's like writing. When you write, you remember what you write. When you type, it gets into your head. What happens is when you continuously keep doing it, you don't have to refer back to which page you have stated what, because you have typed it. Today you can do it in the computer. But what I would suggest is now you have the benefit of dictaphones, stenographers. We had stenographers at that time, but I never utilized them. I used to do it myself. Many a times I asked the senior to dictate to me either opinion of law or a plaint or a counter statement or an affidavit. I used to tell him, sorry, please dictate, I will take it down and I'll write and give it to you. And then we'll give it to the typist, let them type and give it to you so that you can make corrections. So that was the area of, when I started my practice. See, at that time, when we discuss the case with the clients, we know what the facts which they have presented, and we will know what the other side is going to say on that. Then we study, okay, what is the legal position? We start studying the materials on that. What are the sources of material for us available at that time? We had, only thing is, we had law journals, law reporters. And fortunately for me, I'll tell you, we have a lot of, we used to subscribe for law journals, and we used to update ourselves every week. Every week it used to come, every month it used to come. Fortunately, in AIR, All India Reporter at that time, they had a few pages dedicated in the initial pages. They used to have, now the cases relied upon. Supreme Court, whenever there is a judgment, they say, in this judgment, these were the cases that are relied upon. These were the cases that are overruled. So when we study for our clients, when we see that this is a very good judgment which will help our client, then we see how many cases this has been followed by the other courts, whether this has been deferred from, or whether it is overruled. So our legal research used to go like that. But now you law students, I'm telling you, it is available to you right on a platter, in your hands, in your mobile, in your laptop. So please utilize these technological developments to the maximum advantage. It is of very great importance to you. And try to join in conversations whenever a legal subject is being discussed. There are so many platforms today, LinkedIn, Facebook legal groups are available there. There are a lot of groups which discuss, where some eminent persons who have specialized in the field will have a webinar there. You go join the webinar, and there are so many free registrations open up. So I would advise you as law students now, decide upon what you're going to do, plan for it, take in all these certificate courses and add-ons, join internships with available opportunity, wherever an opportunity is available, build up your profile. So ultimately, when you pass out of law, when you say that this is my curriculum vitae, when you show it to somebody, moment they look at it, they'll say how much marks you have scored. Oh, it's a good grade, fine. Oh, he has studied, he has got all these qualifications like a certificate in intellectual property law. Okay, he has studied a diploma in cybersecurity. Oh, he has done a mediation course. Oh, he has done an arbitration course. So these are all things which you can do in law while studying law itself. And this will help you a lot, dear students. I will not call you students, I will call you as my friends, because you're talking on that level now. Huh? Dear friends, don't waste your time. Always develop a positive attitude. You remember everything is not going to be a bed of roses for you. Everything is not going to be given to you on a platter. You have to strive for it. You have to work for it. You will come across many failures. You will come across many disappointments. You may not have scored well in one subject. Improve. Always improve. Take a lesson from there and move on. So it is not only being positive in your thoughts, be positive in action too. So be a proactive person. And see, language is never a barrier, I'm telling you. In my own experience, I'll tell you, I had my fundamental education, like up till my sixth standard, you will say, it was a very scattered school experience for me. I studied my first studied in one school, second studied in another school in a different village, third studied in a different town. Ultimately, when I settled down to a regular high school in sixth standard, all I was doing is my original Tamil, my mother tongue Tamil medium. So my school principal, he said, look, you're scoring very good marks. You take English medium. I said, why? Oh, fine. So when I joined English medium, you don't believe me, the first score marks, science 3 marks, history 3 marks, 4 marks. The English was so difficult for me to gauge. Yeah, it was so very difficult. When my headmaster saw me struggling with that, he came and told me, look, if you really want to study the language, start thinking in that language. So he said, start thinking in your language. If you start thinking if you think in your mother tongue and then convert it to English, and then when you speak out, it comes differently. So what I would say is inculcate the habit of developing your vocabulary and expert what you call spoken English, because at a higher level, in a different platform, when you come out, this will matter a lot. Though today we can speak of so many things, but still, it is the unifying language, and it is the language today in quotes. And this is where you can really put your effort into. Never be discouraged. Never be discouraged. It will come to you. Keep at it. If there is a failure, make it as a stepping stone for the other success. So I think I have taken. Do I have time enough to continue? Hari,
Yes, sir. We have.
Rishikesh?
Yes, sir. We have
Okay,
time.
fine. Yes.
Yeah.
So now, as I said, please build up your profile. So when you pass out of law, now is the next step. See, you can choose to be an in-house counsel, or you can choose to be a practitioner, legal practitioner. I told you the roadmap for that, how you can train yourself, tune yourself to come into that. Now, when you become an in-house legal counsel, you see vetting of contracts. So there are so many things. I'm telling you the most potential area in the coming future where you all can focus your attention on. Though, of course, many of you may, if you want to choose your career as a trial lawyer down to from the Mofussil courts, go ahead, fine, no problem. But if you want to go higher and higher and higher, you can't keep lagging behind. You have to keep improvising yourself. So keep yourself updated with the developments. Today, the international trade law is developing so fastly. There are multi-structured contracts are coming to existence. Infrastructure projects are on the high. One negative thing about this corona is, see, with the international trade growing up now, what this corona has done is, many of our countries are trying to protect ourselves. So the expansion of trade growth, now the system of governance is imposing certain restrictions so as to insulate ourselves, insulate our economy. Now that will change. It has to change. These two will pass. So when we go into that phase of our life, we'll be seeing huge economic activities, multilateral contracts, which also brings in speedier and effective, easier access to justice and delivery of justice. So, excuse me. So you have arbitration. There, multi-layered arbitration systems are coming into existence. So start studying on that and see how we can navigate through the process and start getting certificates. Now, the future lies in the commercial activities having grown to such an extent. The growth in commerce and the growth in trade and development automatically brings within it the technological development. Along with the technological development, the intellectual property, and along with this intellectual property and copyrights, you have this security, cyber security, because you are in a virtual platform, you do not know how many are hacking into this site right now. So cyber security is there. These are all the potential areas in future where it will be most required. Legal profession, I'm telling you, has got lots and lots and lots of potentials opening up before. Do not be confined to, oh, I'm a lawyer, I have to go to the court, put on a gown and start practicing. Yes, do that. But don't get stuck there. Keep developing yourself. Improvise yourself. If you start practicing in a first-class judicial magistrate court or in a district court, go to the next level. Go start practicing in the district court. From then on, pick up client ID, go practice in the high courts. And for all those which where if you have got very good grades, which I would advise you, please fight for getting very good grades. Study very hard, because ultimately the mark sheets, the grade sheets will show who you are. So study hard, get good gradings, get these add-on skills, expand your horizons. Expand your horizons. Don't try to start from the top and then come down. No. Always the best thing is take roots first. Taking root is where it really matters for a law student. Take roots here. One more advice I'll give you. Take it not as advice. It's a tip. You see, always have a mentor. Both in the pursuit of your academics, as well as in your profession, or in the area where you choose to practice, have a mentor. See, mentors make a lot of difference to you. They will be able to guide you. They will be able to counsel you. They will be able to put you in the right path. Fortunately, you see, when we studied law, I'm telling you, I was so lucky to have a faculty which are so talented a faculty. I'm telling you, the one who taught me the jurisprudence and international law in law college, that is when I was doing my BL. Later on, he joined the Indian Legal Services. He rose to the level of law secretary, union law secretary. And ultimately, he became the secretary for the Lok Sabha and retired. See, they were my professor. He was my professor. Later on, the professor, when I was doing my Master of Laws, who taught me private international law and public international law, who taught me research methodology when he was a lecturer there. Later on, joined the Indian Legal Services, but on the External Affairs Ministry, he went on to become additional secretary. Then he shifted himself to United Nations Secretary. He became UN Citral, he's a member. Then he became the president of WIPRO. I mean, the intellectual property, World Intellectual Property Organization. He became its president, and is right now in New York. See, these are very great professors. I had an occasion to do a project under Professor Madhav Menon, the principal at Pondicherry Law College at that time. He later became the Bar Council of India Trust Secretary. At that time, I was doing my second year of Masters in Law, and he conducted a study on the legal profession in Tamil Nadu. I was fortunate enough to be a research associate along with him in that project. Of course, it is still available in the Indian Bar Review, I think the year 1982 or 83. And that created a huge furor in the legal community in Tamil Nadu. Ultimately, many advocates were against the report and they went to the court and all that. So much of controversy came around that. But then what I'm trying to tell you is, like, I was so fortunate enough to have such professors and such mentors who were guiding me. Likewise, from your own faculty, you choose. Take guidance from them. When you come out into the virtual platform, there are so many experts with whom you can interact freely. They are willing to share their knowledge. Nobody today can hide knowledge from you people. If you really are in search of it, you will get it. It is there in the virtual platform. You see, Internet of Things is the rule of the day. You people are in the virtual generation. So use it to the optimum. Develop. Explore areas where people have not still explored into. A small illustration today. I think a week back or so, I was reading a judgment on a senior citizen's case. Today, there is no textbook, no subject book available on senior citizens' rights. You see, you can study all those aspects of it. Forget about senior citizens. See, trade and development, international trade, mediation in the Commercial Courts Act, the procedures. So please don't leave any stone unturned while you are being a student. It is available in the virtual platform. You can always contact a person like Rishikesh contacted me today and I'm able to talk to you. There are many people who would be willing to come and share their knowledge, share their experience with you, gain from it. Go ahead, push forward. If you've got any questions, I can answer to you now that I've spoken so much to you.
Those who have any doubts may ask to sir.
No doubt. You can share your thoughts. You can share your thoughts.
Yeah, sir. So, sir, I have one question that most of the students have been like to be a practicing lawyer at Supreme Court or High Courts. So, what would you suggest to them? Means most of the students are thinking that once they get graduated from the your university or from law schools, they think that they will dive to the High Court or Supreme Court and flourish their practice there. So, what would you suggest to them?
Yes, I would tell them, good. Because now that you have made up your mind that you're going to go to the High Court or you're going to go to the Supreme Court, remember, if you go to the Supreme Court, you have to write an advocate on record examination and then become an advocate on record. So therefore, choose wisely. Choose a firm of legal firm. There are a lot of legal firms. You straight away start your internships there. Go to different firms, gain knowledge, then register yourself in the Register of Supreme Courts and register with the senior, name therein, be with them, take the advocate on record examinations, could become an advocate there. And in the high courts also. But what I would advise you most importantly is never ever neglect your fundamental basics. Yeah, knowledge of trial law will be of immense help there. I have known very many senior counsels who have come when I've spoken to them say, oh, I did not have the benefit of being a trial lawyer in the subordinate courts. How I wish I had been there. Because what you do in the high courts and what you do in the Supreme Court is what comes from the district courts and mafsal courts on appeal. See, today commercial courts is existent in the district level as and have a trial knowledge exposure. So no problem, go ahead, practice in High Court, practice in Supreme Court, no problem. But always dedicate some time for doing a trial work. And where you can do that, easily available opportunity is get it, go enroll yourself in the, offer your services to the legal education, legal services department, the authority, at the state level or at the High Court level or at the Supreme Court level, wherever it is. And there you have first-hand knowledge of all these things happen, interacting with the clients and studying with them. And at least have the trial exposure. Have the trial exposure. You can expand your horizon. Please definitely go practice in the High Court, practice in the Supreme Court. You will do wonderfully well. But you should have this, you cannot straight away go into High Court or straight away go into Supreme Court and immediately become a star overnight. No. There are so much of labor behind it. So take it, pursue it, but pursue it diligently, plan it and do it. Plan systematically. I will be an intern here in this office for this much number of months. I will be intern here in this office for this number of months. I will study this aspect of law in this form. I will study this aspect of law like contract negotiations. I will study in this form. Arbitration, okay, I can study from this form, learn from that form. You, even while studying, you acquire these qualifications, certifications. When you start practicing, you apply it and see how it works. I'm telling you, you will definitely grow. You definitely will grow because opportunities are plenty. For the right person, with the right frame of mind, with the right planning, anything is possible. So don't be disheartened. Many may see, by reason of, I'm telling you, not all law students today are capable of doing it. You have to make a lot of sacrifices. And you don't burden your parents. You can use it, do it. And see wherever there is available.
अरे पता है वो, अरे तो महंगा रेट भी रहता ही है पर सस्ता भी मिलता है.
Hello. Please, will you please off your mics? Sorry, sir.
Yes. Okay. That's one way of doing things. Anything else?
Yeah. Sir, you told about the arbitration as a career. So, can you give a insight to the that topic? Means how one can be an arbitrator, or how can one choose arbitration as a career, or what would be the steps or roadmap for that?
Yes. For you to be an arbitrator, mainly, see, you straight away, as a fresh law graduate or a fresh law entrant into the profession, you cannot become an arbitrator straight away.
Yeah.
Nor can you become a mediator straight away. These are alternate dispute resolution mechanisms. So instead, you can be a good arbitration advocate. You can be a good mediation advocate. So this is a collaborative method. How do you go about doing it? Now there are many institutes which are having certification programs where arbitration as a special subject is being taught, and you are certified. You are certified as a professional arbitrator. You can study that. The Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs are also having so many courses there. Study those courses. Then become an intern in many of these arbitral institutions. See, institutional arbitration is in the vogue now. So go and become a member of these institutional arbitration groups and learn from there. Potential is very high. In the near future, for the next 5 years, let us say, arbitration has got huge potential. Coupled with that is also contract management, what we call it as a contract management. That also forms part of this. We have many institutes offering that. Become interns there, learn your tricks. Learn the nonsense of doing all these. Most importantly, there are a lot of blogs available, blogs, and in the internet, there are a lot of organizations which are dedicated for forums. Then in the commercial international arbitration, the Commercial Institute of Arbitration, you become an associate there by taking an examination. Then you go to the next level of MICAB. Then you become a fellow. Many staff with MI, masters, and then member, associate member, and then a fellow. Yes. And in the European continent, in the United, a lot of institutions which are offering you these certification courses. Become a member, and you will be eligible to practice also in those areas. Practice is most important. As time passes, when you acquire that sufficient inputs and sufficient knowledge in that particular area, and once you specialize in that area, and you start becoming an arbitrator or a mediator, good. But the experience you gain in all this will be huge. So go on that track. You will be able to see it. Yes.
Hello, sir.
Anything more?
Good
Yes.
evening, sir.
Yes, madam. Yeah, I'm able to hear you. Tell me.
Sir, I'm asking about the criminal law.
Okay.
As you know about the our Indian situation, all
Yes.
all are saying that girls are not that level to practice in law field, but today's time, girls also are practicing in law, but some circumstances girls some face problems. So what about that you think? Please
Sir,
share your
See, we have to accept the ground reality. Yeah, good. Harshada, is that the one who asked the question?
yes, sir.
Very good. Good that you chose to ask this question. You see, gender discrimination is always there. You cannot avoid it. Any field, there is a gender difference. But that does not mean that doors are shut for you. No. In criminal law, I've seen many female lawyers rising to the top. You can always easily overcome that. The best way of overcoming this is the quality of the work which you do and the standards you maintain. I'm not asking you to be shy, reserved, and all that. No. Be forthright, be free, be frank, but let the others know what the bounds are, the boundaries are. In criminal law, there is vast potential for see, excuse me, the POSH Act has come into existence, Prevention of Sexual Abuse and other things. There are a lot of forums available there. Then in arbitration, yes, females are there. A lot of arbitrators. Many lady lawyers are specializing in that areas. Mediation, there are a lot of specialists there. I don't think gender is a restraining factor, though it may be an inhibiting factor. See, there's a difference. Don't be inhibited by your gender. Ultimately, the quality is what counts. So develop the quality, develop that acumen, develop that capacity. You can always outshine men in any field if you choose to. And when you apply your mind to it, at times men can't even battle you out on that. And there are many, many instances where people have risen to such high positions in the international forums. From our own thing, from my experience, I can tell you, I know of an associate of mine. I mean, in fact, she can be a role model for you also. I can say 2-3 people I can name. Iram Majid of she's the executive director of Asia Pacific Center for Mediation in Delhi, and she's the director of Indian Institute of Arbitration and Mediation. There are many other people like I remember. I think she's also in the meeting here now. Vidulata. She's a woman. She is having her own mediation training sessions, negotiation skills that she's training. I can quote her. I know so many lady advocates from Delhi Bar, like Prerna Kohli. She's an expert in mediation. So many, it is never a problem at all. In criminal law, of course, yes, plenty of opportunities are available to you. In this POSCO Act, once this act has come into force, the sky is the limit for you, madam. Don't ever worry on you being a female. In fact, you are more empowered now, and you are more protected now. So, yes, be of good cheer. You can do very well.
Thank you, sir.
Have I? Thank you, sir. Yes. Good. Anything to follow up on that? Any of your follow-up thoughts on that? Fine. Okay. Yes.
So, sir, we will have last question. If anyone has a question, please ask. You may unmute your mic and ask. Hello? No, I just don't think that anyone have any questions. So it was
Okay,
extremely great experience, sir, to listening you. Extremely great experience. It was mesmerizing experience to me to listen you, sir. Sir, let me tell you a little bit.
In fact, the pleasure is mine.
No, sir. Yeah, sir. But generosity has shown that within few messages you agreed to give a lecture. So I just can't tell you that my happiness in the words. So I just overwhelmed by your personality, sir. Totally.
Thank you. Thank you. And to all the participants,
Yes,
I'm really, it's so nice platform to meet you all. And when Rishikesh requested me, I wanted to know what this new college is about. I heard so many of law colleges, so many elite schools. And then I thought, okay, this is the best way I can meet students, and I'm glad that you people came and joined me here. I thank each and every one of you. I hope whatever I have said has benefited you and of some
definitely,
use.
sir.
It was extremely great experience to listening you, sir. It was also extremely mesmerizing and overwhelming experience to all of us. So now I would request Ms. Durga to present the vote of thanks to Ms. Durga.
A very good evening to all of you. Gratitude is the sign of noble souls. It's an honor to have been asked to offer a vote of thanks for this meeting. On behalf of all of us, I express my hearty gratitude towards you, sir, for sharing your graceful words with us. All participants of this meeting are inspired by your sparkling words. I also want you to thank for giving your vital time from your busy schedule to grace this meeting. I would like to state that we are glad to all the speakers here over the meeting. Once again, thank you so for being with us this evening. It has remained a pronounced pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Hello, sir.
Shall we close the meeting?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you. Thank you
Thank you.
very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.